Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of The Rebellion. I am Tyson Smith, your host, and today is going to be incredibly exciting. There's going to be so much value for you guys. Today, we are bringing on my friend and our guest, Dre Medici. I'll let him tell a little bit more about who he is, but I'm going to give a brief synopsis here. He is 22 years old. He is absolutely crushing it as a social media agency owner, among other things. And we're going to talk today all about his business, getting started in it, just tons of different things. Dre, so good to see you. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Tyson, my brother. Super happy we made this happen, bro. Really a pleasure to be here, man. I really appreciate it. You're crushing it. He's posting more content than me, so it's a blessing to be here with someone who's I know is going to get this content out as much as we possibly can. He's crushing it with this personal brand, so super happy to be here. It's actually my second time in Arizona. I came with a few friends for the Jake Paul fight, and Tyson happens to live in Arizona, so we had to make this happen, and you guys are going to get a ton of value, so excited to make it happen. Let's
Absolutely.
go.
So the first thing I'd really like to talk about is, Dre, will you kind of tell everybody about your story and kind of how you got started in online businesses and where that's taking you today?
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm 22 years old, currently a multimillionaire through what I've done. So it's going to be a really exciting story and just for you guys to hear. I started with $0, right? So I want you guys to know that no daddy's money, never got handouts. And I actually started making money when I was 7 years old. So when I was 7 years old, I lived in Miami, so I started to see nice things, right? Nice cars, nice houses. And I knew that if I ever wanted that, it wasn't going to come from my family, right? It wasn't going to come from, somebody putting me in position. It was going to come from whatever I made happen. And that gave me, the drive to go and start making money from an early age. And it gave me the perspective of, if I didn't start now, I wouldn't know when I was going to have my first dollar. If I wanted to go out and get a $20 t-shirt or anything like that, it was going to come from the money that I made. That was just how I was grown up, just built, that was my character. And so when I was 7 years old, the way I started making money is I heard about people that were making money, camping out for sneakers and then reselling them. So I didn't have any money to be able to buy my first shoes. So what I did was I came out with a cleaning business where I would clean your shoes for you, your limited edition sneakers, and I would charge $10. So I actually only did this business for about 2 months, and all I had to do was save up $220, which was enough money to get the shoes that I wanted to camp out for. So thankfully my dad, huge shout out to him, he actually came and slept outside a Foot Locker with me. So we just stood outside the line for 7 hours, and I got my first pair of limited edition shoes, posted them on a Facebook marketplace, sold them for $550, and my dad literally saw me make $300 profit at 7, 8 years old in the blink of an eye. And after that, I kept doing that same exact thing for about 5 years. So until I was 12, 13, I was a huge sneakerhead, just buying, reselling, just started from zero, right? Literally started from cleaning shoes for just 2 months, just to show you can make money anyway, right? There's no excuses. And so after I did that, I started selling tickets to events. So when I was 14 years old, getting into high school, started seeing Ultra happen in Miami, Rolling Loud. And so I would do ticket arbitrage with these events, basically to give people a little bit more insight. Rolling Loud, Ultra, they like to do pre-sales where they sell these tickets 12 months in advance. So a lot of people come, 1 month before the event is happening. Things happen in those 12 months, right? Maybe they had a kid, maybe, something happened with a family member. So these people couldn't get refunds on these tickets that they bought because that's just how these ticketing services work. They wouldn't allow refunds if you got the pre-sale. So what I did was I would actually go on Twitter and Reddit, and I would find people that needed to sell their tickets, and I would buy it for super low, and then I'd go to school and sell it to all the cool kids that wanted to go and didn't have a ticket, and I would make a huge profit there. So that's what I did from 14 to 17, really selling a lot of tickets. Started doing some of my own events, so throwing the after parties, the proms, the buses, did all that. I was the guy throwing those events, making it happen, making a ton of money. 14, 15, 16, 17, I was always just accumulating wealth, building up my net worth at a really young age. And then when I was 17 years old, all my life throughout this time doing business, I always played soccer. So when I was selling these shoes at a young age, it would literally be on my way to soccer practice. So I was always hustling, playing soccer, making it happen, while also making a living for myself and having my own income, which is something that I was super proud of. And so when I was 17, being a soccer player, I was in really good shape. And a lot of people started asking me how they can be in that same shape, right? You know, going into my first year of college, I started hearing about freshman 15, and a lot of people were talking about that. And I'd done business my whole life, so I knew I had the experience to be able to succeed in that business. And so, you know, starting that business was actually the first Instagram business that I ever launched successfully, that I ever launched to start with. Not that I failed, that was like my first one. And so with that business, I mastered all the key components that you need to succeed on Instagram. So what were some of those things that I did? I made sure that the first thing that I did was building up that Instagram page with theme pages and shout outs to around 30,000 followers. Then the next thing I did was I went to LA. I was 17 years old at the time, flew myself out, flew my photographer out, flew a model out, and I did incredible fitness content. I looked incredible with a high quality camera, everything that the average Joe doesn't do, right? They'll just post a selfie video, you know, at the gym doing some sets, but it's not that high quality stuff that allows people to be a magnet to your page, right? So that was what I did. You know, I grew that page to 30,000. I then went and got, you know, incredible content. And then I started transforming people's bodies. And the next thing that I did, which is a huge key to succeeding in business, was I went and got more testimonials than any small fitness business owner that I knew. Like, I had the most testimonials you could possibly find. I had people saying they lost 40 pounds. I had people saying that they were fat and they had six packs sending me before and afters. I literally had the most testimonials. And that right there is all you need to start making 6-7 figures a month on Instagram. Why? Because once you have that following that you've invested into building up, you have that social proof. Then you have that content that stands out. It shows why you're different and why they should choose you. Then you have testimonials that are real life reviews where they see, wow, that person got their body transformed. This kid is actually the real deal, right? Maybe he's not on steroids, he's not huge, but he's getting people results, so I know he could do it for me too. And I was charging, you know, a low ticket price where the barrier to entry wasn't huge and anyone could come and anyone could have their body transformed. And I was super passionate about it. I was transforming so many people's lives, but I knew I had something bigger here. And the reason why I knew I had something bigger was because, you know, you can have an amazing body, but if you don't have money, you can't even afford the food that you need to nurture that amazing body that you're looking to get. So I said, you know, I need to come out with a way where I'm showing people how I can show them to make the money that I just made with this business, right? I'm 17 years old, my first successful business that I launched, and there's millions of people out there that don't know how to make money on Instagram, that don't know how to make money on social media. So I realized I had a huge market, bigger than just being a fitness coach. I knew that I was able to transform people's income. I knew that I was able to transform people's net worth and turn them into a millionaire, multi-millionaire, you know, just by giving them the exact steps that I did. And, you know, as you can see, there's a pattern here, right? I've always wanted to transform people's lives, whether it was fitness, whether it was wealth, right? I always had that passion. And so I'm always going to do that for the rest of my life. You know, now that I've accumulated more wealth, I want to start going to certain countries and giving back, donating 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 100,000, whatever it is. You know, that's my passion. That's what I'm here. And that's why I've accumulated wealth. I always told God, I said, you know, if you put me in that position to be successful, I'm going to make sure I'm the best human on this planet and I give back, right? So yeah, just to, you know, finish this up, you know, a little conclusion. So when I was 17 years old and, you know, I succeeded with this business, I knew that I was going to be able to take this business to the next level. So I was in college for 4 months, still running that same business, doing sales calls every single day, probably 50, 100 sales calls, literally nonstop. And I still had, you know, A's in the classes that I was in, but I knew that those classes weren't going to serve my purpose, right? I knew that I wanted to start right now. I didn't want to wait 4 years to get that success. I wanted it right now. So I moved out to New York City. I opened up my first office. I was 18 years old. It was a big flex for me. And I launched my agency, right? I launched Grow With Us, same name, never changed it. I see a lot of people change their stuff all the time. For me, same company to this day. And I knew I was going to do that. I knew by doing that, it was going to give me the utmost credibility in the marketplace, right? Knowing that you have those testimonials that have built up for 4 years, that's going to make you powerful. That's why people are going to come work with you, partner with you. So yeah, now we're here, you know, 4.5 years later since we launched that agency. When we started, literally from day one, I knew it was going to be a multi-million-dollar company. I remember talking to people on Zoom that I wanted to bring onto the team, and I would tell them, like, trust me, like, in 6 months, this company has done over $1 million, and it happened. So right from the beginning, the company was always doing 6 figures. There hasn't been a month in the last four years that we haven't done 6 figures. So now my next goal is to accomplish doing $1 million a month. So hopefully if you guys follow me, Dre Medici on Instagram, you guys will see my journey on getting to $1 million a month, and you guys will learn from that. But that's my next challenge. That's my next goal. So yeah, man, let's take it from there.
That is amazing, everybody. I want you to repeat one more time. If you guys want to go learn from Dre and see these things that he's doing in his journey from going to 6 figures a month to 7 figures in the social media agency space, they need to follow you at Dre Medici. And how do you spell that?
DREMEDICI.
Okay, amazing.
Super easy.
Now, obviously, throughout just you talking about what you've done, there's so much to learn from that. There are a couple things that I really want to point out. Number one is throughout all of your different endeavors, I noticed it all came from something that you were already inherently passionate about. So in the beginning, you said you clearly liked shoes, right? And that was something you were interested in. And then you went and took your passion and figured out a way to monetize it. Same thing, coming after is I'm sure that you were interested in these music festivals and, what they were bringing, and you were figuring out something you're interested in, and how can I turn this into something, right, that puts dollars in my pocket? Like, clearly, you know how to take something you're interested in and find the different opportunities, where I feel like so many people get stuck where just because they like something, they're not sure how to actually take and monetize that, where you're spotting these opportunities.
That's an incredible point. I think if you like something and you like attending something, or you like, having something, whether it's a materialistic thing, find out how you can sell that thing so you can actually have that for free, right? So the same way Tyson said, I love those shoes. So I would actually make sure that I got those shoes for free, essentially, because I would, buy 3 and 2 of them made me a profit. So I got those shoes for free. Or if I was selling tickets to Rolling Loud, Ultra, I knew I could go to those events, but I went to those events making 10K, 15K profit, not going and spending $500 for a ticket. So 100%, that's an incredible point. And the fact that you can take everything I said and see that, just shows how incredibly smart you are. So that's a great question, brother.
Well, I mean, look, when you make it really easy for me. For real, so many people, like, this all comes down to really being able to create your own reality and live the life that you want. You're taking the things that you're naturally interested in, which so many people, right, they have a hard time separating, like, work and the things they're interested in, when it's so possible to blend them. You need to look and see the things that you naturally gravitate to, that when you're spending time on, it doesn't feel like work. And when you're able to find something like that, there's gonna be a way to monetize it. You just have to get creative, which you've proven is so possible.
Yeah. I think getting creative is definitely one of them. And then the next step after getting creative and knowing what you're going to go in the marketplace and offer is getting the right tools to do that correctly, right? Because you're never going to make it to six, 7 figures just, having that offer, right? You need to go out and study certain mentors, certain books. There's so many resources out there on YouTube. You could literally watch a podcast from a billionaire, right, for free, right? People didn't have that 100 years ago. So make sure that you know that, and, it's easier today than ever. So take full advantage.
Absolutely. And on another note of this is, I think something that is allowed, like something you talked about, is that you are passionate about helping other people. If you look at every single business you talked about, it's all, you had somebody else in mind.
Always.
How can I, get somebody else this pair of shoes? How can I get somebody else into this event? How can I help somebody else make money through their Instagram account? You are serving other people, and as a direct result of that, you're getting compensated. It's one of the principles, and there's a phenomenal book called The Go-Giver, super short book, and it's a story, and it basically explains that one of the principles in it is that the more people you're able to help, there's going to be a direct correlation to the income you make. Now, that's one thing I love about your main business when it comes to social media management. Everybody needs a social media presence, no matter what it is you do. And where you can show them how to grow that, how to use that tool to find success in their own lives, not only can you profit, but they can as well.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone who has joined my company has seen a huge ROI, right? And that's the satisfaction in it. A lot of times people say selling has a bad taste, about it, right? But when you're selling something that 1,000% guaranteed that once I take their following to that next level, once I take their engagement to that next level, once I take their content, I know 100% guaranteed they're going to see 100 times more success than they did before that investment. So it doesn't even become selling, right? Like, we became friends literally on a sales call, right? Because it wasn't a sales call. It was like, Tyson, you're an entrepreneur, 24 years old. I'm 22 years old. I've been doing, maybe social media a little bit longer, but you have so many incredible skill sets that you've done, but you haven't shown it to the world. We were just having a great time communicating with each other, right? So definitely finding something that you're passionate about makes it so easy to sell. You don't have a hard time pitching it because people are going to tell that, you're passionate about it just when they hear you pitch it. Absolutely.
And what he said there about, it's so much easier to sell something when you fully believe in the product. So it's no problem for Dre to say, look, you need to pay me this money, because he's so confident that he's able to fulfill on his promise and that he's going to give you an excellent product. I feel the same way when it comes to the real estate education that I sell. People are worried, sometimes people are trying to sell something, but they don't fully believe in the product. When I'm on the phone with somebody and they tell me that they want to learn how to make money in real estate, I am so confident in my product's ability to be able to allow them to do that it's not selling. I don't feel like anything bad about it. It's easy to close per se because the product is there. Believing in whatever you're selling is, I think, going to be the number one thing that will determine whether or not you're able to successfully sell that product.
And successfully build a team around that product as well. That's the next thing that I want to talk about too. You guys heard scaled up to 7 figures, right? My company has probably done over 10 million in sales by now, maybe a little bit more. But that didn't come from me only selling. And that's one of the biggest things that I want to talk about. When you want to grow a company, to bigger heights, it's extremely important to remember that your back end also needs to grow alongside with that, right? So if you say, I'm currently doing 100K a month, my expenses are 20K a month, I want to go to 400K. There's no way you're going to get to 400K by still having 20K a month expenses. You're going to have to hire more assistants. You're going to have to hire more product managers, all these different roles that you want. And that's one of the biggest keys for people to know. When you want to scale up, make sure you're also scaling up your defense, right? Your back end, because if that's not in place, that scaling is going to be a complete failure, may lead you to, depression, quitting your business simply because you weren't doing it properly and efficiently. So that's definitely a key point that I wanted to mention.
Right. I love that what you bring about of when you're scaling, there's 2 things to think about. And I feel like most people are only thinking about the offense. They're thinking about how can I get more customers?
Exactly.
When it's super important to have that defense so that you're still able to fulfill on whatever it is your product is.
Yeah, that's something that I've done exceptionally well. If I have a service that I'm offering, I'll make sure I have 5-7 team members that are experts in that service so that we always have room for scale, right? And that's what allowed me to continue to deliver the best service even as I grew, right? So definitely recommend that. And then another thing that I want to mention too, when I go back to talking about, building your team, that's so crucial because, having people that join your team, they partner up with you, they're selling with you. When you have a company that you've built, it has thousands of testimonials, it has millions of dollars invested into it in marketing. Partnering with that person isn't always like, oh, I'm working for that person. It's like that's something that you can actually take and capitalize on so much cash flow that you would have never had that opportunity if you were just starting yourself. No Instagram, no testimonials, no results. And so I've had a lot of team, people that have come and partnered with me, and now they've made $250,000 a year just because they knew that what I was offering was the real deal, and they wanted to come be part of my team and be something, bigger than them, bigger than me, right? And so when you want to scale, make sure that you can't be the only one selling your service.
Oh, absolutely. We were having a conversation about this earlier. You yourself only have so many hours in the day, and you need to figure out how you can buy back some of those hours and also expand your amount of hours. And you can do this by leveraging technology and humans. So you can either get technology, robots, or some other shape of that to do things for you, or you can get other people partnered up who share a common goal, who are going to be able to benefit along with you, win with you, and that is going to help you, right, buy back your hours and multiply your productivity.
Yep.
So, Dre, let's talk a little bit about what people are doing on Instagram and what they're currently doing wrong. What are some of the most common things that you see people are doing wrong on Instagram?
It's a great question. So I actually just came out with a piece of content that I'm going to be posting soon, which is like an ad that I want to run that literally has a huge praying, somebody going like this and says, please stop marketing. So it has that, which really captures people's attention. And then what it says right under that as a subtext is, until you work with Grow With Us. And the reason why that is because so many people, they go and spend $1,000 on marketing in their first month of their business, right? But what's the problem here? Their page has 100 followers, their page has 2 likes, their page has horrible content. And so you can go and put it like this. You hire an ads team. You say, oh, I'm doing the right thing. I hired my ads team, right? So you hire an ads team. So here's the ads team you hire, right? And here's your page, right? So they're driving traffic to this page. They're spending $10,000 a month, right? And it's the same ad expert that's doing it. right? But he's driving traffic to a page that has 100 followers, 2 likes, no content. Or even if you have 2,000 followers, just how many people do have 100K followers? How many companies have 100K followers? So you're still way behind having that, right? So my point is they're spending $10,000 a month driving traffic to that page. But imagine this. Imagine before they spent $1 single on advertising, $1 single on bringing anyone to their page, they invested in the foundation. Right? They invested into growing their page to that credible number. They invested into that content. They invested into making sure their content is good enough. People are engaging with that content. So people, when they come on their page, they see other people like this company, like this person, right? So one of the biggest things that people are doing as a mistake on Instagram is they're trying to launch a successful business without taking care of their foundation first. And that's one of the biggest keys to failing, because you're now putting in all this time every single day to work on content. You're putting in all this time to, work on scaling up your business. But you're not realizing that the reason why you're not scaling is because that first impression is not there.
Right. So when people go to a page and there's not already some sort of social proof, if you are looking at somebody's, product or service. So for instance, Dre, if you reach out to me and you say, hey, look, I want to take your Instagram to the next level. Don't worry, I can do it. And I look at your page and you have 500 followers and your last post got 10 likes. I'm probably going to say, Dre, how are you going to do that? Right?
Yeah, and let's say they're not even in that industry. Let's say they're just in a different industry. Let's say somebody messages you and they're a fitness coach and they have 500 followers. And they say, hey, I can transform your body. I'm the best fitness coach in town. But what happens next? 1 hour later, they get another message from a fitness coach who has 50,000 followers. Who are they choosing?
Right. You're going to go with the guy who has the social credibility. You're going to be like, well, 50,000 other people trust him. I mean, there's just a simple clout factor that honestly really plays a pivotal role in the conversion of that sale.
I mean, we've seen it now for all these years. It's nothing new. Just think about it. People buy Rolexes, people buy Richard Milles. And why do they do that? Because status and first impression makes a big difference in your success. People want to be attracted and socialize with those people that have those things, right? And so we've seen the power of status. We've seen the power of credibility. Now there's something new, digital. Make sure you're doing exactly what has worked for other people in the past, which is having things of status, having nice cars because they're going to get you into bigger rooms, right? Make sure you replicate that on your Instagram.
Right. So, Dre, tell me, how is it that you're able to take a page that only does have 500 followers or something like that and build it into a page that does demonstrate status?
Yeah, so the first thing that we do is we want to invest money into growing the following. So there's many different ways that we do that. We can send millions of messages per day to grow somebody's account. We can get them posted on these huge theme pages or with influencers and grow their following. We've been a company now for 4 years, so we just have the best ways to do everything, and we have countless different ways where we can give a client the option of, you want to do it this way, you want to do it that way. We have multiple ways of doing it. So the first thing we do is grow that following, because that follower number is the first thing somebody looks at when they land on your page, right? You can go on somebody's page, you see that they have 100 followers, you're swiping out after 3 seconds. You see they have 100K, you may take a glance, right, and look a little bit longer. And that's what you want to do. You want to have people look longer. So,
well, I know for me, when I get DMs from people, I'm definitely going to prioritize the blue check marks, right?
100%.
I mean, it's simply like, it's the truth of things.
Yeah. You know what's funny about what you just said? Andrew Tate's brother actually just made a post the other day on his story, and he was like, you DM me with this blank profile, I'm not going to look at your page. I'm only going to look at your page if you have a lot of followers or if you're verified. If you don't have a lot of followers or you're verified, I'm not even going to look at you. So that just goes to show, you want to get in the rooms with these big people. You want to build relationships online, which is another huge thing I want to talk about. When you make an investment into growing your page or growing your personal brand, don't just think you're seeing an ROI on, did I sell those followers as well? Did they buy my product? Remember that when you start doing outreach, which you can reach 50 plus people per day on Instagram, to these high level people that you want to connect and network with, they're going to look at your page, right? And if you have that established page, you're going to get a better response rate. You're going to get invited to dinner with them, and that's going to pay off right away.
Oh, absolutely.
So there's so many indirect ROIs that come from the investment of building your brand and building your personal brand or your company page, because you could be at a networking event and you take out your phone, you show them your Instagram, it's that social proof right there. Or you're at a bar and you're single, you've been wanting to get a girl, and she sees that you have 30K followers, she's going to choose you over the one over there doesn't even have an Instagram page. So the ROI is infinite.
Oh, absolutely. I can tell you guys right now that if you're a person and you have $1,000 a month to invest in something, what is $1,000 a month put into, let's say, a S&P 500 ETF over the course of the next 10 years compared to $1,000 a month invested in your personal brand. It would make that end future value in the S&P 500 look like bullshit when the power that having a personal brand and having an account and being credible, that can give you so much more access to different streams of cash flow and revenue.
Just listen to this. Let's say you invest $1,500 into starting to work with me, right? Not even you're paying that monthly. You just make that one-time payment. We'll talk about it monthly if you like it after. You invest $1,500. You currently have a fitness business. I'll change the example. Whatever it is, you guys can choose whatever you currently have and just plug it in. It works the same way. But let's go with the fitness business. You have a fitness business that has 500 followers. You have an offer that costs $1,500, right? Which is very common. You can sell something for $1,500. People will buy it. Don't think that they won't buy it. They do. So you come out with an offer that's $1,500. You have a fitness business. You invest $1,500 into working with me. Right now, I grow that Instagram past 15 to 20,000 followers, build it up, get you some content, coach you on it, tell you what to post, get you engagement so everything matches up and looks aligned. And you don't even need us. We're not even talking about ad spend, which is a huge way to actually see an ROI even faster. But we're talking about no more additional money spent. Right? You now have that page and you message 50 people per day on Instagram. I'll give you guys another hack. You can actually make a backup page because Instagram blocks you after 50 messages. So now you can reach 100 people per day, which is another hack, right? So now you're messaging 100 people every day and you're funneling them to this credible page that has 15,000 followers. People see it. They know you're the real deal. And you're getting your $1,500 offer in front of 100 people every day, which is 3,000 people a month. Tell me that out of those 3,000 people that you reach, you can't get at least 10 people to sign up.
And that's 15 grand a month right there.
And 1,500, like you said, in S&P 500 over 1 year, instead of 15 grand in 1 month, right? Multiply that by 12, multiply compound, increase of revenue as well, because that's just month one. Now you're getting 50, you just got 10 clients. Guess what? What if one of those 10 clients refers you somebody each time? Now you're making more than 15K a month because you're doing the same process, but you're also adding revenue that's coming from those connections that you continuously build month on month, right? So that's just, I always use that example. It's like you make these investments into the S&P 500. You literally can make this investment and see a 100x, something that you won't ever see, and it's all guaranteed income because it's all green signs that you're seeing. When you're selling your own service, you're just seeing green, green, green. You're not going in the stock market. Maybe the stock crashes just like what's happening right now. Everyone's losing a ton of money. No, there's no losing money. It's you go out there, you work every day, you sell, you're going to see green. You're not going to go out there, trade all day, lose some money, make some money.
Listen to that, folks. Right there in the past 3 minutes, Dre just showed how you can go make 6 figures a year with a simple $1,500 investment.
For free.
So,
no, and even if you have 500 followers and you do that strategy I told you to reach 100 people per day, you can make the money that will allow you to invest into that service of $1,500 just off that.
So let me ask you, Dre, somebody who's watching this right now, they're really jiving with what you're saying and they want to learn more about working with Grow With Us. What steps do they need to take to learn more about what it is to do to work with you?
So I would typically say, just reach my company page, but we spend 100 grand a month on ads to the company page. So if you actually want to have that personal connection with me, which I will give you that time of day because you came from Tyson's podcast, just shoot me a DM to my Instagram and say, I saw you on Tyson's podcast, DREMEDICI. Just send me a DM, say that, we'll connect. I'll either get you on a call with myself if I have some room that day or that week, or you'll get on a call with one of my team members that are all incredible and will tell you exactly what I will. So it won't be a difference. But yeah, that's the best way.
I'll be completely honest with you guys. Just because I worked with Dre and he was able to make my own Instagram account more credible, I have made at least 6 figures because of other people in the real estate industry who have seen me, and simply based off the amount of followers I have, they have thought is I'm credible and this guy can sell my real estate deals. I'm telling you. Now, I'm lucky, or I shouldn't say I'm lucky, but I can fulfill on that because I have an amazing team and we have systems and processes for moving deals all over the country. But people will reach out to me simply because of that number on my profile.
100%.
We were talking about this earlier today. I said that, throughout 2023, my biggest goal is going to be building up my personal brand. What would you say to somebody who is not focused on building their personal brand in the year 2023?
I think you should definitely get focused on it right now. You know, I always say start early. So don't wait till 2023 to start building your personal brand. You could start today. And you may wonder, well, how do I start? Well, you start off by sharing your passions and you choose what you want to make this personal brand about. Do you have a business in mind that you want to launch? Are you a fitness coach? Are you just an entrepreneur? Are you just, do you like doing makeup? What is it that you want to promote? And then once you find that, you want to be consistent with your content, right? And I actually learned that from my man here, Tyson. You know, I gave him a little bit of the blueprint on how he can go out and make it happen. But if it wasn't for the content that he was putting out, he wouldn't be getting, the same results that he's getting. And so once you find what you want to do, go out there and be consistent with your content. But the key is to actually make sure that before you become consistent with your content, all the content that you are putting your time into doing is high quality content. So the content you see here today, this is high quality content. If you go and spend the same amount of hours that we're spending right now, but you're doing it on an Android that comes out, super bad quality, and your editing is super off, you're wasting your time because you're putting in the same time to do that, same time to edit that, and at the end of the day, it's not getting the same results because it wasn't high quality. So don't make yourself do things twice. If you're going to start, do it right from the beginning because you're going to get better results that way. And then the next thing you want to do is, be active on your stories. That's another crucial thing, right? Show your life, show what you're doing, but also make sure that those stories are high quality once again, because if not, people aren't going to watch them, right? If you're just showing videos of the floor, taking a walk, that's not valuable, right? But flip that camera around, talk to the camera, get uncomfortable, be confident, and people are going to start relating with you and connecting with you and replying on your story. And when they start to do that, there's going to be some confidence and some adrenaline and some dopamine that pumps in you that's going to give you that motivation to keep on going. And building your personal brand is so important. I say this all the time because even if you're changing industries, you're changing businesses, or you hear about a new offer or something that you want to talk about, having this personal brand, this nest of people, this community that you've continued to build actively, now you can sell anything to that audience. Obviously, you want to sell things that you believe in, that you fully vet and trust. But if there's a investment opportunity that's out there, you can go on your story and say, who wants to get involved? Who wants to invest in this opportunity? And if you didn't have a personal brand, you didn't have an audience, you wouldn't have that leverage. You wouldn't be able to go out on your story and make $1,000, $10,000, whatever the price, for that ticket or that investment is. And so that's the crucial thing about, building your personal brand. It's like you can start and just have fun with it. And if you start taking it seriously and building on it every day, you're never going to go broke. Because Absolutely. You're always going to have an audience there. Anything that you come out with, there's going to be a few people there that want to try it, that want to take advantage. Get a testimonial from that person, put it on your story, and now more people are going to join. So definitely building your personal brand is one of the most important things to do. The last thing that I'm going to mention about personal brand is think about, celebrities, right? Rihanna, for example, she's a billionaire now because she built her personal brand and she came out with a makeup line, a skin line. And so when you have a personal brand, right, if you're a celebrity and you come out with a company, it's like that company is almost guaranteed to be successful because your personal brand's successful.
Well, and think about how many examples there are with that. You've got Kylie with her makeup, Drake with OVO and
anything
his
he wants.
Right, anything Drake does, it's going to be successful. But even on a much smaller scale than that, I'm trying to think of some other examples of some influencers who have come out. Like, let's say Mr. Beast. He comes out with Beast Burger. Now, he already makes a ton of money on YouTube, obviously, but now he has this other income stream that is like, it's impossible to fail just because of the built-in audience he has for anything he's going to sell.
Yeah. So study, right? Become valuable. That's the biggest thing. You want to build your personal brand, you need to provide value to others that they don't already have. So Get in front of, rooms that not everyone has access to, so you can share a story about how it was being in that room. You got to always continue to level up, continue to learn. That's going to give you ideas for new content. So definitely do that. Don't go out and have nothing to say, but don't think that because you have nothing to say right now, you can literally grab a book. I say this to people all the time. You want to talk about entrepreneurship, you want to get involved in that, go read a few entrepreneurship books. I guarantee you on the first few pages you're going to have 20 video ideas. Right away, you're going to annotate that. You're going to underline that. You're going to be like, oh my God, I could talk about that and I can leverage that. That's what it's all about.
Listen to there right there. For everybody who's asked me, I want to start making content, but I'm not sure what to talk about. Dre just barely said, go find a book about something you're interested in, start reading it, and then on another sheet of paper, start writing notes about things that you found interesting. Go back, boom, right there. Those are your first 15 videos. Now, Before we end off, Dre, I want to leave with one last question. What would you say to somebody who is too scared to start making content because they're worried about what other people are going to think?
So take Tyson, for example. Okay, Tyson, a few weeks ago and starting now, he's shooting content in the gym, right? Most of you guys would never do that because you just think about, oh my God, these people are watching me. I'm in the gym, I'm talking, they're going to think, I'm weird or what is it? But he doesn't care. He's doing it. And by doing it, he has videos that are going viral on TikTok because he doesn't care and he's doing it. So guys, when you go out there, you put yourself out there, you're like, once again, putting yourself out there correctly. So he's making sure he's doing high quality content so people react well to it. But when you go out there and you put yourself out there, like I said, properly, there's going to be so much reward that comes from it. So get rid of that fear and just know that if you hold on to that fear, you're never going to experience the success that you can have from building your brand. And when you never experience the success that you can have from building your brand, you're going to be on your deathbed and you're going to be thinking, what if? What if I would have started? And that pain and of regret is going to be way worse than a bad comment or way worse than, one of your friends saying, dude, what are you doing? Like those people that say that, once you become successful, are going to be saying, I'm so sorry I doubted you. Can I come over? Can we hang out? Can I come to this dinner with you? Can you teach me? Can I pick your brain?
I can already tell you right now, it's funny because when I first started, obviously it was super embarrassing and I was worried about what people from my high school and stuff would think. But now I have all of these people that are reaching out to me, people I used to know, and they're like, oh, Tyson, that's so cool what you're doing. Can I come talk to you? Can we go get lunch? Yeah, bro, that'll be a $1,000 an hour phone call. Hey, that was amazing. Now, remember, if you do not want to live a life of regret and you have something that you're passionate about, now is the time to get started making content. And if you want help with that, reach out to my friend Dre Medici and he can help take you to the very next level. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been episode 5 of The Rebellion. Don't forget, if you haven't already, make sure you like this podcast on whatever platform you're listening to. It helps me out, and we want to help build a huge community of people who are like-minded, who want to learn, who want to escape the matrix, who are not comfortable living a regular life, and who are passionate about becoming the very best version of yourself. Also, go ahead, check out my man Dre's page. It's at Dre Medici on Instagram. He can totally help you out, and he always is posting lots of value over there.